I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, March the 7th, brought to you in part by VitaFerm. Use VitaFerm Conserve without sacrificing performance. VitaFerm Conserve is an economical line of vitamin and mineral supplements with Amaferm from Biozyme. For more information, go to VitaFerm.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards, another good run for them, maybe 3,800, from 35 to 3,800 head for the regular Tuesday cattle auction. Going to have about 1,000 head of calves. Probably 80% of those will be weaned. A lot of 4 to 6 weight calves in that bunch. And then probably 2,500 head of true yearling cattle. A lot of them coming off wheat pasture, weighing 7.5 to 9.25, mostly steers. Being in good condition, but a lot of those were just out on wheat being fed, just in a big pen that was supposed to have wheat in it being fed. It did have one consignment, about 300 head coming from Canute over on I-40, and those cattle were off legit wheat. They did have some legit wheat in western Oklahoma, so they'd be pretty green, and maybe 200 or 300 cows, but a good sale. Beaver County Stockyards, you can check them out on dvauction.com. Truth in labeling, I gave you guys a heads up on the last feeder flash saying you need to look out for that on Monday, and indeed we did have a statement that come out that says USDA has now proposed a rule that meat, poultry, and egg labeling is going to be more fair. But it's got to be born, raised, slaughtered, and processed in the USA to have that label made in America or American product, product of the USA, something in the like that. But no longer can foreign-born livestock or repackaged or further processed meat products that's sent over have that label. And about 12% of the beef that we consume in this country is of that. It's imported as an already slaughtered product, but it hasn't been further processed or comes over live. About 12% of that. Now, also kind of ironic, only about 12% of these products carry that product of the USA label. It's not mandatory. It's totally voluntary. All of these labels on there. But if you're going to put it on there, product of the USA, you've got to keep documentation. You don't have to prove it to do it, but you got to keep documentation that shows that it is born, raised, slaughtered, and processed in the USA. So likely a lot of those products from the Big Four, they'll just completely take all those off. But anytime do you want to, if you have a product born, raised, slaughtered, processed in the USA, you can put product of the USA all over it. Always could, always have. It's just it's a voluntary program, but there was a loophole in there that you could put product of the USA if it had any kind of further processing on it. And now they are going to close that loophole, which that's a great thing. A lot of that came about from the U.S. Cattlemen's Association petitioning USDA for that very reason there in 2019, and they have come in and done that. North American Meat Institute, no surprise there, they were totally against this. They saw nothing wrong with calling some product that was shipped over from Uruguay and then thrown into the hopper with some of our meat and then ground up and then called a product of the USA, even though it wasn't. They had no problem with that. NCBA says that we need to get rid of all the voluntary labeling and get strict standards on how we do that, which that's going to cost extra money. This just in, RCAF still wants mandatory country of origin labeling, so no change there. But let's talk about your board for Monday to start the week out. April live cattle futures up 67 cents at 166.10. June up 32 cents at 161 even. Your back months on live cattle up 50 cents to up $1.10. Good day there. I think it had something to do with the announcement. I really do. It had to have. March feeder cattle up 207 at 190, 207. Corn was weaker, but not enough to make any difference. So I think this announcement that this truth in labeling is coming out was a big boon for your cattle futures on Monday. April feeder cattle up 257 at 198.60. Your back month's up $1.85 to up $2.30. Your grains, March corn was down 3/4 of a cent. That's nothing. 644.5. December down a penny at 570. That's not enough to do that to the cattle. March beans up 10.5 cents at 1541. Weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle movement on a direct basis out of your 5-area feeding region, 72,400 head last week. That compares to 64,300 head the previous week, about 10,000 head more, or 8,000 I guess. And the same week a year ago, 60,300, so 12,000 more than that. But your live sales of fat steers and heifers last week ranged in price from 161 to 167. That was $1 higher. Your weighted average on live steers in the 5-area feeding region, 165.02. That's up $1.30. So good gains there, even though we did not see what the Southern Plains wanted, which they were bound and determined to get 166 and ended up not getting the 166. They just sold what they needed to stay current at the 165. It was 165 all over your 5-area feeding region. That was $1 higher in the Northern Plains, $3 higher than 2 weeks ago, the last time that the Southern Plains had sold cattle. Dress sales ranged from 262 to mostly all 265. That was $2 to $4 higher. Your weighted average on dress steers, 264.43, up $3.46 compared to your weighted average from the previous week. Nationwide, 90,500 head sold, negotiated. Pretty good movement there. About 23.5% of those were for the 15 to 30 day delivery. Hate to see that. I don't think they should, these spot sellers should be doing that at all. Make them pick them up over the next 2 weeks, guys. But 90,500 negotiated. Negotiated grid was 44,300. Forward contracts was 34,700. And formula sweetheart deals based off the, for the most part, your base price other people are negotiating for was 257,700 head. That's not healthy, guys. We need to get, now that we're getting some things from the government, we need to get this price discovery and transparency bill in and get it pushed through. But your last week's sales out of your 5-area, we say 5-area, but we don't get any information out of Colorado, so there's no price discovery there at all. Iowa last week had 32,200 head move, Nebraska 20,100, Kansas 15,900, and Texas only 4,200. Like I said, they just sold what they absolutely needed to, negotiated to stay current. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Choice cuts were up 88 cents at 290.20. Selects down 39 at 276.47. Pretty good slaughter on Monday, 125,000. That's enough to keep up with anything and should have a healthy slaughter this week. Talk about what else is going on. Your night latch group, that's Andy Cunningham there in western Oklahoma. He wants you to hold on to your investment with gross margin livestock policies. And you can manage your corn and your cattle risk at the same time if you buy these with somebody that knows what they're doing. For more information, go to nightlatch.net. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction. Late in the day on Monday, sitting at 188.71, up another 70 cents from the end of last week. You see me, cash feeder cattle index is making strides, trying to catch up with your real-time index. Come on, little feller, you can do it, but still running about $1.50 behind. Let's talk about what I was at, coming to you here from Northwest Missouri. I did give a talk in Trenton, Missouri for Consumers Oil on Monday night. Going to be giving another one for Consumers Oil in Hamilton, Missouri on Tuesday night. The general public is welcome to come. Going to have steaks, going to have refreshments, going to have door prizes like we did on Monday night. Had a pretty good crowd on Monday night, expecting a bigger one in Hamilton on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday night, going to be going down to my friend the Herzogs in Butler, Missouri at Mocan Livestock Market. So hope to see several of you there at Mocan Livestock for a presentation on Wednesday night here this week. Talk about your big sales on Monday. High volume sales, Oklahoma National Stockyards, Oklahoma City, 10,700 head, and a humdinger. Feeder steers $2 to $5 higher. Stalker type steers up to $8 higher. Feeder heifers steady to $2 higher. Steer calves $1 to $5 higher. Spots as much as 20 on some 4-weight stalker calves. Heifer calves steady to $3 higher. Joplin Regional Stockyards, 8,200 head for them. Steers had a wide range of a trend, but $2 to $9 higher. Heifers $5 to $11 higher. Stick out sale I saw in Joplin was 78 steers, weighed 526 pounds at $252. Big time quotes coming from all around. Your Zoetta stick out sale of the day was Russell Livestock Market in Russell, Iowa. 2,400 head. Not a big sale for them, but big time quotes. Look at your automated market report from Cattle Market Central. You see your best tested weights. 245 head of 5-weight steer calves, average 557 at 235.74. 445 head of 6-weight steers in Russell, Iowa, average 652, weighted average price 213.80. 411 head of 7-weight steers, Russell, Iowa, average 754 pounds, weighted average price on all those 196.24. And one good tested weight of heifers, 256 head, 5-weight heifer calves, average 547 with a weighted average price on all of them of 199.15. Give you some individual quotes. How about Headwaters Livestock in Three Forks, Montana? A long string of 5-weight steers, one deal, 236 head, weighed 589 pounds, close to 600 guys, at 240.85. They had a short load, 520 pound steers at Headwaters, bring $2.70 a pound, guys, way up in Montana. How about Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota? They sell 79 big steers, near beers, weighed 1026 at 177.35. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Macrison, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri. 63 head of steers, weighed 811 pounds at 198. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.